Six Flags Fiesta Texas in San Antonio, Texas is the best Six Flags park. This 208-acre park features a picturesque setting in a rock quarry, great customer service, and a top-notch ride lineup featuring 10 different roller coasters, several notable non-coasters, and the included Whitewater Bay Water Park. So in this video, I will explain why this is the best theme park in the Six Flags chain. When you think of Six Flags, what do you think of? I think of crazy coasters, spotty operations, and advertising forced down your throat. What if I told you there was a Six Flags park with a picturesque setting, efficient operations, and beautiful midways, all while keeping that same thrill level that you expect from the chain? Such a place sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? But it does exist, and it's called Six Flags Fiesta Texas. The most striking thing about this park is how it's enveloped by the quarry wall. It's one of the most unique settings for a theme park. Not only is it beautiful, but several rides interact directly with the quarry wall to provide some breathtaking visuals and unique elements. But the beauty doesn't stop at the quarry wall. The park features 5 themed areas that look far better than what you'd expect at most Six Flags parks. I mean this as a compliment, but this park's looks are on the level of a Busch Gardens or a SeaWorld park. The main entrance plaza pays homage to the rich Hispanic culture that's integral to San Antonio, and it's a festive main street for the park. Going counterclockwise, the next area is my favorite, Crack Axle Canyon. This is a western themed area with a light steampunk vibe tastefully mixed in. Spassberg is a German village. The front half of this area looks great with a German architecture and castle from Bugs' Whitewater Rapids. Rockville is a 1950s themed town that is a more fleshed out version of the one I'm familiar with at Six Flags New England. And lastly, you have Fiesta Bay Boardwalk, which captures the feel of a seaside boardwalk park with the wooden pathways and coastal vibe. This theming was mostly attributed to the fact that these areas were developed before the park became a Six Flags park. Fiesta Texas was originally opened in 1992 as a Gaylord park, and was purchased by Six Flags in 1996. Thankfully, Six Flags has maintained the same great atmosphere, and outside some DC rides that were added that break the cohesion of Rockville and Spassberg, the park feels similar from an atmosphere standpoint. However, those DC rides do look bright and colorful, so they do look good even if their themes don't match their areas. And the park's great appearance is complemented by the park's strong customer service. I think Fiesta Texas has the best employees in the chain. Not only are they friendly and efficient, but I've had several encounters over the years where they go above and beyond for guests. There are 2 examples I want to highlight. The first goes back to Wonder Woman's opening weekend. I was in San Antonio for work that weekend, and the ride's opening was announced with less than 1 week's notice. However, it would only be open for members. At the time, I had a season pass, with my home park being Six Flags New England. I was willing to upgrade to a membership to ride Wonder Woman, but because Six Flags New England wouldn't reopen before my visit, I couldn't get a membership card. I called Fiesta Texas and I was on the phone with them for a while, but they confirmed I could ride as long as I presented an email verifying I had bought a membership. I expected something to go wrong, but it was seamless showing my phone to the employees at the gate for Wonder Woman. The second example was when my Flash Pass device died when I reached Batman the Ride. I figured I'd have to backtrack all the way to the Flash Pass booth to get a replacement device. But the employee told me to go ride Batman and said a replacement Flash Pass would be waiting for me at the exit. Sure enough, when I got off Batman, an employee was standing there with a new Q-Bot for me, and not only that, they provide a paper Flash Pass good for any ride to make up for the 15 to 20 minutes I was without the device. You wouldn't get customer service like that at most Six Flags parks. Speaking of the Flash Pass, that is highly recommended on busy days. I needed it at my first visit, which occurred on a summer Saturday, but lines have been pretty minimal in my subsequent visits, which have taken place in off-peak weekends. The 2 worst lines, even on a light day, are for Joker Carnival of Chaos and Wonder Woman Golden Lasso, due to their capacities. And even if you have a Flash Pass, Wonder Woman is not always on it, so I would advise riding Wonder Woman first so you can get a few rides in before it builds up a line. Dispatches are generally pretty good at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, and they usually have multiple trains going on the rides. The one exception is when the park is performing rehabs on a coaster, bumping them down to 1 train. From what I've seen, the park prefers to keep rides open at reduced capacities rather than shutting them down for a month or two. The one curveball that can plague a visit to Fiesta Texas is the wind. While the quarry wall is gorgeous, it is a major headache on a windy day. This can cause several major rides to close, with Poltergeist, Iron Rattler, and Superman being the three most affected attractions in the wind. If possible, I would avoid visiting this park on a windy day if you can. A rainy day is far more complicated. On one hand, the park will be dead and most rides will remain open as long as there's no thunder or lightning. However, the park can close early with minimal notice. I had a visit last year when the park closed at 2 p.m. with just 15 minutes notice, but I was able to ride Wonder Woman without getting off for a half hour straight, so it was a risk-reward situation. This is a risk I was more willing to take as a membership holder, but if you're getting a day ticket, I'd look for a better day. Now, I wouldn't consider getting anything other than a membership or a season pass for a Six Flags park, because it's not that much more than a single day ticket. Plus, with a membership or season pass, you get into all the Six Flags parks, and it often includes parking, which is a $20 to $25 cost otherwise. And speaking of parking, the lot at Fiesta Texas is large, but the front spots are really close to the main entrance, unlike some of the other Six Flags parks. Moving on to the ride lineup, the park currently features 10 different roller coasters. A lot of the roller coasters are clones. In fact, 7 of the park's 10 roller coasters are clones, but most are good to great clones, and the coasters cover a large range of genres too. The highlights are undoubtedly the 2 RMCs. Iron Rattler is the park's signature coaster and one of my favorite coasters in the world. This hybrid conversion of the old Rattler takes you above the quarry wall several times. Now, a lot of coaster enthusiasts will criticize the quarry section. While I do agree that it's slow, this section still has strong pacing because it keeps throwing action-packed elements at riders that either offer airtime or lateral hang time. But the best part of the ride is easily the 2 drops off the quarry wall. This is why you need to ride the coaster in the back row. The ejector airtime is incredible in these drops. I think the first drop in particular is the best drop in the world. That airtime combined with the laterals and visuals is breathtaking, and I go into more detail in a separate review. On the opposite side of the park is the prototype Rocky Mountain Construction Raptor and Wonder Woman Golden Lasso coaster. This single rail coaster runs like a bat out of hell. The coaster moves cartoonishly fast as it whips through the super compact layout. The first half is some of the strongest ejector airtime in the world on the drops, Dive Loop and S-Hill, and the latter 2 elements combine the wicked laterals at the same time you get that ejector airtime. The second half is a bit tamer, but the elements on Wonder Woman are still strong and the ride maintains its speed into the brake run. The biggest issue with this coaster is the poor capacity, which again is why I recommend riding it first thing or at the end of the day. I also have a separate review on Wonder Woman if you want to hear more thoughts on this coaster. If inversions are what you crave, you have a few options. Superman Krypton Coaster is the world's best Bolliger & Mabillard floorless coaster. Like Iron Rattler, this coaster takes riders above the quarry wall, and it features some incredible drops. These ones twist adjacent to the rock wall and offer some weightlessness at the same time. Then you have 6 wonderful inversions. The first few are floaty, while the final corkscrews are super snappy because the mid-course brake run does not slow you down one bit. I mentioned that Superman is prone to closures in the wind, but it's also among the first rides to close in cooler temperatures. Just keep that in mind if you visit during the winter months. Goliath is the Batman the Ride clone adjacent to the main entrance. While this B&M invert does have a weird location and an even weirder name, it is an enjoyable coaster. This ride has 5 forceful inversions, and it's remarkably smooth given that it's been relocated twice. Batman the Ride was the prototype S&S free spin. This one's flipping is a bit more random than the other free spins in the Six Flags chain, and while it may feel more like a flat ride on wheels than a true roller coaster, I still find the chaotic ride experience of these free spins a wonderful contrast to the rest of the park's offerings. This ride also has a well-themed queue line, which is something that Fiesta Texas has really started to do on their newer attractions. Poltergeist is the park's lone launch coaster. This premier ride spaghetti bowl may not have the world's best launch, but the twisted mess of track that follows has some intense inversions and wild turns. I always come off this ride disoriented because of how quickly it changes directions. If you've only ridden the Flight of Fear clones, know that this one does not slow you down mid-ride. That makes it more intense. Plus, Poltergeist is getting refurbishment currently, which should only make the attraction better. For family coasters, you have two solid options. Roadrunner Express is the third and final coaster that directly interacts with the quarry wall. This was the final mine train from Aerodynamics and was designed by none other than Alan Schilke, who incorporated some really cool elements for this type of ride, such as airtime hills and a few forceful turns and helixes. On the opposite side of the park is Pandemonium. This is the lone coaster in the boardwalk section of the park, and it's an enjoyable Gerstlauer spinner. And if you can get a severely off-balanced car, this ride can really throw off your equilibrium and offer a thrilling experience. Last but not least, you also have the recently renamed Streamliner coaster, which is the park's Vekoma Kiddie coaster. It's the perfect starter coaster for kids, and it is a comfortable ride for parents or coaster enthusiasts desperate for a credit. And if the park's extensive teasing is any indication, Six Flags Fiesta Texas may get something really nice for 2022 as well. Beyond the coasters, you have a well-rounded collection of non-coasters. For flat rides, the taller ones offer amazing views of both the park and quarry. Scream is the prototype SNS combo tower, combining a launch and turbo drop into one ride. While it may not be the most forceful drop tower out there, the views are hard to beat. Alternatively, you can ride Sky Screamer, the Funtime Star Flyer, that swings out over the quarry wall for similar views. I actually prefer this to Scream because the views are more sustained. Screamin' Eagle is an upcharged zipline. Now I think the ride is a bit pricey, but it's really neat flying above the quarry wall and then over Superman. It's a bit harder to appreciate the views in Joker Carnival of Chaos because of how quickly you're swinging. This is actually the park's fastest attraction, reaching speeds of 75 miles per hour or 121 kilometers per hour, but I still love the visuals as you swing high above the park. And those max swings are accompanied by some weak but very sustained floater airtime. The ride does tend to have one of the worst lines in the park, but at least the last part of the queue line is interesting. In fact, I'd argue it's an attraction in itself. It's a walk-through funhouse themed to the Batman villains. The rest of the flat rides consist of your standard spinning and pendulum rides. Hustler is not to be missed if you love getting dizzy, because the cars in this teacup ride are super easy to spin. And if you have young kids, your best bet for rides is the Kidsopolis area. The park also features a recently renovated dark ride in Pirates of the Deep Sea. This ride has a shockingly well-themed queue for a Six Flags attraction, and it even includes an animatronic. The ride itself is a pirate-themed Sally dark ride with some nice-looking sets and 2D targets, all of which worked and usually reacted in some way. And this ride has AC for those hot summer days. Alternatively, you can cool off on the park's water rides. Bugs' Whitewater Rapids is an enjoyable log flume. This is actually a Hopkins super flume, as it features larger boats and some unique elements, including a double down first drop followed by a bunny hill. Then the final drop is quite tall and sizable for a flume, even giving a pop of airtime. The ride also has some decent medieval theming with a Looney Tunes twist, both in the queue line and on the ride's lower sections. This ride isn't a soaker, but it will get you decently wet between the splashes and the dragon who will squirt you. Gully Washer, meanwhile, will get you soaked. The park's River Rapids ride has some decent rapids, but it's the sprayers, geysers, and waterfalls that will drench you. I like how this ride is nestled in the corner of the park, and if you're a photographer, know that this ride's massive queue line offers some of the best vantage points of Iron Rattler. The Whitewater Bay Water Park is the attached water park included with admission. The water park has a solid collection of slides. You have tube slides and body slides covering a varying range of thrill levels. But the highlight is the Thunder Rapids water coaster. While this water coaster maintains its speed really well and comically soaks you, the drops just don't offer the airtime like the others out there, unfortunately. It's still a fast-paced slide though. If you do intend to do the water park, I would hit it as soon as possible. This will let you experience the main slides before they build up weights, as I have seen this water park hit capacity on a busy summer day. Beyond the rides, Six Flags Fiesta Texas is known for their shows. I have focused on rides in my visits, but I've heard that their shows are very well done, particularly their nighttime spectaculars. And for Holiday in the Park, they have Christmas themed shows, and they also had lots of lights around the park for this event. I absolutely loved visiting during Holiday in the Park because the park was stunningly beautiful, the weather was cooler, and the rides were mostly walk-ons. In my 2020 visit, the only rides closed were Gully Washer due to the temperatures, and Superman on select days due to the same reason. Like the other Six Flags parks, Fiesta Texas also does a Halloween event in Fright Fest. Now, I haven't visited the San Antonio park during this time, but I've heard it's one of the busiest times of the year, which is the same for the other Six Flags parks. So I would visit at other times if you're coming from a distance. In terms of food, most of the stands here have your typical Six Flags food. It's pricey without a meal plan and mostly unhealthy. But there is a shining star at this park, Old Blues Barbecue. Located near the water park, this barbecue stand has the best brisket I've had anywhere, not just at a theme park. It was moist, juicy, and delicious. All of my meal swipes at this park go towards this brisket. So do I recommend Six Flags Fiesta Texas? Absolutely. This park excels in almost every area. The park has an elite top 2 coasters and a strong supporting cast of other roller coasters and attractions. There really is something for everyone at this park. Mix in the park's great appearance, atmosphere, and customer service, and it's not hard to see why this is my favorite Six Flags park. It may not have the depth of Six Flags Magic Mountains coaster lineup, but the park's attraction lineup is no slouch, and it's head and shoulders above the chain's other parks in the other areas. Six Flags Fiesta Texas alone is worth booking a trip to San Antonio for. So those are my thoughts on Six Flags Fiesta Texas, the best Six Flags park. What are your thoughts on this park? Do you agree that it's the best Six Flags park? I would love to hear your thoughts about this park down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.